Right now, we're going to talk to Larry Hedrick, who is the co-creator of the Superstition Mountain Museum and responsible for making it what it is today. So you're actually the only one that I really know that has found a treasure up in the Superstitions. Tell us about that.
Yeah, because when we were in talking to Jake in the Superstition Inn, after I breached the subject and he calmed down, Tom was my friend was talking to him, and I noticed a display over in a deal. It had a wooden box like this with an open top and a shovel in it, and there was a stand with a display. And I walked over and looked at it. It was the Hiram Walker's Canadian Club Hide-A-Case program. And I took the clues. There was several clues in a little pocket. I have it over at the house that you can see. And I just took it and took it home. I didn't pay any attention to it there. And I went and read the thing. And the first clue was, see, they had hid a case of whiskey all over the world. Mount Kilimanjaro, the Australian Barrier Reef, you name it, they had this case of whiskey buried everywhere, and gave clues on how to find it. So here on the Lost Dutchman thing, they used the clues to the Lost Dutchman legend to find the whiskey. And the first clue, when I decided to go out and look for it, said, "Camp beneath a needle rock." Well, like you said, everybody knows that's Weaver's Needle. But the second clue was the one that threw everybody. It said, "Travel west from here to a, quote, well-traveled, unquote, Indian trail." Well, there isn't any well-traveled Indian trails in the Superstition. There are Indian trails, but they're not well-traveled. It was Apache trail. What else could it have been? So I never went to Weaver's Needle, and I never even went out there. And it says, "Now travel north towards the lakes that weren't here when the Dutchman was there." Well, none of the lakes were here when the Dutchman was there. So I'm driving in my Jeep. It had a picture. I can't call it a pinnacle, but a hill that was very distinct. Kind of like a knob, a round knob on top of a hill. And it said, travel north to the lakes that weren't here when the Dutchman was here until you can see Weaver's Needle, the needle, in the distance.
All right, Larry, this is fantastic. We are out in the thick of things now. We are out here on location where one of the few treasures was found, and it was found by you. To the right of us here, we have Gonzales Butte. Behind us, we have Weaver's Needle and the old Apache Trail. We're in sight of that, and yet we are at a historic site. Let's go take a look here, because we even have a marker to mark where you found one of the lost treasures, one of the only treasures out here that's actually been found. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, you know, the first clue they gave was a misdirection clue. It took you deep in the wilderness because it said camp beneath Needle Rock. But anybody that knows the legend, the second clue took you right back out, because it said travel a well-known Indian trail, and an Indian trail was in quotes. Well, there's trails out there through Hohokam ruins, but they're not well-traveled. The only well-traveled trail is Apache Trail, State Route 88. Then it said go north towards the lakes that weren't here when the Dutchman was here. And we went straight north towards Apache Lake and Canyon Lake. And it had a picture of a butte. And I recognized that butte as being Gonzales Butte. It was photographically reversed, and I didn't recognize it immediately. But I asked them later on if that was an accident or if that was on purpose, and they said it was an accident. But anyway, it said take a trail that is partly washing places. Well, we just came down that trail, and it said within sight of the camp, you will find your golden cache of Canadian Club. Well, they made a mistake, because in the picture I got out of a magazine, it said within sight of the fire. Now, there's a big difference between those two. You can stand in a camp and look within sight of it, but if you're looking for a fire, you're going to see the smoke from a long distance off. So I just kept looking around and found this campsite here with these boulders over here making a three-cornered fire, three-walled fire. And off over here a little ways was a ring of rocks on bedrock. And then over here a little further was another ring of rocks on an angle on bedrock. And I thought, well, that triangle's trying to tell me something. If I pace off between them and take that distance towards the point of the triangle, well, there was nothing out there that could be dug up. It's all solid rock and stuff. So I came back to the campfire, and I decided there was just sticks in one of them and little bigger sticks, but neither one of them had been lit on fire. This one actually had a fire in it. So that was the first day I found it, but I didn't come out here with a shovel or anything. I was just checking the area out. So I went home. Next morning I came out with a shovel and dug up the fire pit, and there it was. Now I got down about this far, and there was a huge rock, flat rock. And I thought, and I almost gave up, but I saw a little bit of a corner of a brown plastic bag, and I knew I had it. And I went ahead and took it out. Well, afterwards, they came out, and Canadian Club put up this sign, which has been totally shot to pieces now. You can't even read it.
But it's here.
It's here.
It's rusted, and it's here.
This was 40 years ago. And so anyway, inside the wooden box that was wrapped in a plastic bag to keep it from rotting was a letter. And I opened it when I got home, and it was laminated and all that, and it had a phone number. It said, call this number and tell them, that, you know, announce that you'd found it. So I called that New York number, and hello, and I said, surprise. And there was dead silence for a little bit. He says, man, this woman, you guys out west are quick. Okay, well, now they had to verify that I found it, so they called the people in Phoenix, and this guy made arrangements to come out with, and we went to the site and all this sort of stuff. He verified that it was good, so I was credited with finding it on the third day of the campaign. And it blew a multi-million-dollar campaign all to pieces, you know. And they didn't bury it anymore after that. There had been 14 cases buried in exotic places all over the world by that time, and 11 of them were yet to be found. And they've only found one since. The one on Mount Kilimanjaro, somebody accidentally stumbled across it, wasn't even looking for it.
So there's still several of them still out there.
There's still about 10 of them still out there.
Well aged.
So it was interesting. Eventually I got a call from the president of Hiram Walker, and he says, Mr. Hedrick, he says, how would you like to go to South America? I said, I'm your man, let's go. I said, why? He says, we're burying the next one at the North Pole, and we don't want you anywhere near it. Now, that was 1978. In 2010, I got a call from, now Hiram Walker had sold out to another big whiskey company, if I fail the name right now, and they were no longer calling it Canadian Club. But they invited me, all expenses paid, to go to New York and address the Explorers Club. Well, hey, because they're going to kick off another campaign. The Explorers Club, anybody that's anybody has been a member of that Explorers Club. Teddy Roosevelt, Edmund Hillary, their pictures are all over the walls. It's one of the fanciest places I've been in. It's got like 6 bars on the different floors and all this sort of stuff. And so I went back and gave my speech, and I enjoyed that immensely. And I sent all my stuff back there, the box it was found in, the cardboard display case, the bottles. There was 12 bottles involved in this thing. I gave a couple of friends one of them. I sold a couple of them for $500. I have half of them still here. You know.
You didn't drink them?
Oh, I didn't. I'm a teetotaler. That was another thing. People often, why did a teetotaler go out looking for a case of whiskey? I said, because I heard the rumor that there was gold Krugerrands buried in the box too. And by the way, I was hard pressed to dig up a drink.
And if you want to, like I said, we're not going to tell you how to get here. No. But I will tell you that we're just down below Gonzales Butte, and we can see Weaver's Needle and the old Apache Trail from here. That's all we're going to tell you. Have some fun yourself. Explore the Superstition area, you know, but the hole is still here somewhat. Are those the rocks that...
that was a fire.
The fire there, and of course the sign is here, and it's a beautiful area, great for day hiking. Do not come out here when it's too hot. Do not come out here unprepared. Make sure you have water, and you're totally prepared to come out this way. But, you know, have some fun. Explore the area.